up to me at all.
All right, welcome. This is Donovan Sadiq, and this is the Hot Seat Radio Show. And as promised, we have Pastor Don, who has come and is going to bless us with his weekly devotional. Pastor Don, thank you for coming on the show again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, I really appreciate you coming for the simple fact that we talk about other things other than politics and the nastiness that's going on in this political season. People need what they call hope, and certain words sometimes could change people's lives, because I know there are certain words that have changed my life. So again, everybody that's listening, we have Pastor Don from Reflections Christian Fellowship, and he's going to go ahead and give us some words of wisdom. Go ahead, Pastor Don.
Well, again, I want to thank you, Donovan, for allowing me to do this live devotional message, producing it for me. It's truly an honor for me to be able to do this. You know, some of you out there may not know who I am, or may have not heard some of the past shows on the Hot Seat that I've been a part of. So I'd like to start off this morning with just a little brief background. You know my name. I'm Pastor Don from Reflections Christian Fellowship, and I am praying to start a new church plant in southeast Moreno Valley in the Rancho Belago area. But to be quite honest, I've only been a pastor for about 5 years. My working years as an adult has been strictly in the corporate world. In my early 20s, I worked for a large aerospace companies in what they call the procurement department. I was blessed to be able to rise up in the ranks very quickly, becoming one of the youngest procurement managers of a large corporation by the age of 26. By the time I was 30 years old, I had already been running a small machine shop in East San Diego, making amazing returns on my investment. I had this great plan to retire by the time I was 50 years old. But like the old saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your future plans. God had another idea for my life. In 2008 and 2009, the recession hit, and it took a huge bite out of my company. Everything stopped. Banks stopped lending, developers were not buying land, and aerospace marketing sales were in the tank. I literally went from the penthouse to the outhouse in a short period of time. And when I was, there were foreclosed homes and no hope. Now, back in my business days when I was running companies, I would have probably thought, well, who cares? That's not my problem. But back in 2011, my heart and attitude completely changed. Those men and women that I would fire in an instant if they had issues or problems that affected their job when I ran those businesses were the same men and women that I wanted to give my heart to and help in any way I can. Paris needed hope, and they needed change, and that's exactly what Jesus brings to people. Hope in Christ for those who truly believe, and life transformation to those who surrender their hearts to Him. So now, Reflections Christian Fellowship in Paris is 5 years old, and God has put in my heart to start a second church here in the beautiful city of Moreno Valley. Now, I've lived in Moreno Valley for almost 10 years back in the 1990s, and I am honestly here to say I love this place. But when people ask me the question, why in the world would you want to plant another church? Wasn't the first church plant hard enough? Well, the answer is yes. It was crazy hard. And the answer to the second question was, I just have a huge compassion to the lost souls on this city. There's only one reason why a person will go to a city and plant a church in a neighborhood that they don't live in all by themselves, and that reason is because they must love people. I am a firm believer that we are living in the end times. Our world cannot get much worse than it already is. All we hear today when we turn on the news is terrorist killings, senseless shootings, riots all over the world, fighting among all people, and chaos. The world is out of control, and I truly believe that it might get worse before it gets better. People need hope. People need to feel true love in their hearts. People need to know deep in their soul that they matter. And it is only Christ that can provide all of that and so much more to those who believe in him from their heart. You know, Donovan, the one thing I want all the listeners to know is that I really have true compassion for all people. It doesn't matter your gender, your race, your cultural background, or even the bad choices you made in life. Every day is a new day to get it right with Jesus. You know, the Bible teaches us in Romans 10:14-15, how then can they call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? And how can they preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news. Folks, I want to be those beautiful feet that preaches the good news of the gospel message to the wonderful people of Moreno Valley. Folks, compassion comes from the heart. It comes not only from the things you say, but also in the things you do. Compassion for others begins with caring about others deeply in your heart and not expecting anything in return. I love Ephesians 4:32. Ephesians 4:32 says, "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as in Christ God forgave you." This is what a community neighborhood church is all about. It's about being kind to one another in unity. It's about praying together, serving each other, and living life together under Christ's headship. A community church builds each other up because we have so much in common, living in the same neighborhoods, shopping in the same stores, and playing in the same parks. A Christ-centered community church has each other's backs and helps one another while giving all the glory and praise to our Father in heaven. This is the type of community church I want to create here in Moreno Valley in the Rancho Bulago area. A place where people are safe, a place where people feel loved, and a place where they're cared for and truly have each other's best interest at heart. You know, people have asked me, so what is tougher? Starting your own business from scratch, or starting a new church plant? And when people ask me that question, I have to chuckle. And I say, you know what? There is no comparison. There is nothing harder on earth than starting a new church in a new area. But let me also tell you this. There is nothing more rewarding than watching people being transformed by God and living for Him in real hope, true joy, and complete peace. You know, back in my old days, I made a lot of money. And today I can honestly tell you I don't make any money. But I make this promise. I would not trade that in for all the money on this earth. Planning a community church is one of the greatest gifts that God has allowed me to do. And folks, lastly, this is also the same thing we want from our community leaders. Civic leaders, like pastors, can talk very, very well, but the true measure of their heart is in the fruit that they produce. James teaches us in James 2:26, as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without deeds is dead. Pastors need to live their faith, live their compassion, live their love for others, and not just say it. But the same holds true for your community leaders. They also must be doers and just not talkers. We are in this world to make a difference for Jesus Christ. None of us truly have even one day to waste. I pray that God blesses every listener to this program and motivates you to want to be part of God's movement in Moreno Valley in the Rancho Bulago area. I would love to hear your comments on the upcoming church plant in Southeast Moreno Valley. You can see my Facebook page. It's Reflections Moreno Valley Church Plant. I send a daily devotional every single day except Sundays for you to read, enjoy, and hopefully uplift you for your day. Also, if you have any comments, questions, or anything you want to know, you can email me at reflections christianfellowship@gmail.com. I want to thank you so very much for taking the time to listen to this devotional. One last thing, God is great all the time, and I pray that God blesses you all.
All right, well, there it is. Thank you, Pastor Don. And this is one of the things we're going to talk about, and I'm going to leave you with this, those that are listening. Pastor Don is not politically affiliated with this show or with any candidates that I'm aware of. He is a man of God. He's affiliated with God. Back with him and he's filling up weekly devotional.